Hi, I'm Matt Goldfarb, Director of Brand Strategy at Sales Factory. Our company was founded over 35 years ago with a simple idea: help brands listen to their end users and help them solve the problems their end users face in their daily lives. This philosophy is the secret behind our Winning the PLR series, where we take a deeper dive into winning with the merchant and in the market. Why would you listen to us about PLRs? Well, we've been in quite a few as our business is built around helping brands succeed at retail. And since 2015, we've been keeping score. The scoreboard you see here is real and actually hangs in our office. It serves as a symbol of our competitive nature. We love to learn and we love to win. We're also happy to announce that we've chalked up 2 additional line review wins since our last installment, taking us to 123 wins on the board. Today's presentation marks the 4th installment in our Winning the PLR series entitled Position Your Product and Brand to Win. This is where we talk about developing real strategies tied to the data and insights we've been so diligently studying. How does your product line and brand fit into the broader market context? Have you carved out a favorable place in the mind of the consumer and with your merchant? How can we lean into what's working well and reverse the negative associations? With market conditions constantly changing, you need to be proactive with your position to forge ahead and stay ahead. In our last installment of the Winning the PLR series, we talked about solving the end user's problems. When you study and understand your end user's behaviors, including how they use your products and shop your category, you find what influences them and can begin to ideate on better ways to solve their problems. There are macro-level problems and micro-level problems. A behavioral segmentation is the single most important piece of research you can conduct. It's the gift that keeps on giving. Different segments of the market may care about vastly different things. The key to unlocking success with your end user and a win with your merchant is by articulating which customers your brand can get and why. Very few products will represent the ideal solution for everyone. Trying to build a story so broad that it appeals to everyone will likely result in messaging that fails to resonate with anyone. You need to understand the segment of the market most likely to find your product appealing and who you don't need to focus on. You also need to be able to articulate the value of your offering with a message that will resonate specifically with your prime prospect. All of these pieces and others are inputs into the strategic work of positioning. So today we talk about positioning your product and brand to win. Positioning is the process of deciding and communicating how you want your market to think and feel about your offering. Successful positioning requires your product and brand to articulate 1, how your product can solve your end user's problems, and 2, why it is a better solution than your competitors. When you're deciding how to position your brand in the marketplace, you have many options to choose from with many methods to work through. Keep in mind, you'll need to understand your current position to figure out where to go next. Going back to your research you've conducted, what do the end user insights tell you about how they feel in their minds about the products and brands in the marketplace? What are your strengths and weaknesses in comparison to what your competitors offer? You'll tailor your strategy to highlight your product's competitive advantage and indirectly or directly point out your competition's shortcomings. First off, what is a brand? A brand isn't what you say you are, it's what they say about you. Much more than just a name or a logo, a brand is the recognizable feeling that these assets evoke. It represents all the experiences people have had with a product and its company, and the emotional reaction they have when they see the product, hear its name, see its logo, or even hear a reference to the brand. The core reasoning behind brand positioning is the idea that any singular brand occupies a particular point or space in the end user's mind, a point that is determined by that consumer's perception of the brand and its relation to other brands. How far apart the points are reflects the subject's perception of similarity or dissimilarity between products and brands. Taking this one step further to applying the exercise of positioning, the effective execution of positioning can be described as the extent to which a brand is perceived, again in the mind of the consumer or pro or any type of end user, as favorable, different, and credible. It's extremely important to pay attention to this when you're dealing with retail sales opportunities. You have a reputation to cultivate, and it's not just for the end user. You are the major brand touchpoint with your merchant. How does your merchant view the brand? What do they say about you? Their perspective will be distinctly different from the end users. How can you organize the many inputs of data and information that go into positioning? Well, we already discussed when you are considering target audiences, a segmentation is the most powerful way of organizing who your prime prospect is and what they care about. There are other frameworks and tools for putting these other elements into context. You can use 2x2 grids, information hierarchies, many others. In the case of core identity, we like to use what we call a brand fingerprint. The most unique and valuable assets for a brand are represented by their core identity. Working through a brand fingerprint process will yield answers to big brand positioning questions like, who are we? What do we stand for? What do we believe in and why? Through this process, your brand will pull back the layers to uncover the fundamental truth that drives your brand's essence. What emerges is a clear understanding of your brand's unique head and heart dimensions. What are the rational and emotional drivers to your target audience that your brand alone can own? But to do this, you need to really know what matters to the end user, where your brand has license to play in their mind, and where white space in the market allows you to play. Let's back out and do a positioning exercise on understanding end users' problems in terms of a hypothetical product category. Here's a simple example. This is a 2x2 with some functional attributes, durability and ease of use. Let's say you've determined that these are two key functional attributes that signal quality in your category. Understanding the competitive landscape falls on a continuum in the mind of the consumer and the pro. You can start to plot where the competition lies. Here's brand A, here's brand B, here are some others. Where do you stack up? Where's the white space, and how do you talk about it? How can you message the combination of durability and ease of use to feel different and ownable? At one point in time, the candy brand Milk Duds was struggling to survive. They couldn't compete with much more successful chocolate bars on the market. Very few stores would even carry Milk Duds, and most of its sales were to movie theaters. Then, through research, they discovered that the reason moviegoers enjoyed their candy at movies was because they lasted longer during the film than if they bought another type of candy bar. This message of long lasting could be translated far beyond theaters, and with this position, they began to convince new retailers of their value that wouldn't carry them in the past. Their success in selling into these retailers can be directly attributed to the data that they gleaned from this research, the insights, and positioning strategy. Even if there is a lot of parity in your category in terms of attributes, those functional qualities always ladder up to emotional benefits. In deodorant, for instance, two key functional attributes are smelling good and long-lasting. But consumers rationalize the benefit of these attributes in many different ways. To some it means, I can get sweaty but still feel fresh in the end. To others it might mean, I'm going to feel more attractive. While many brands were competing on the idea of helping you to smell less sweaty, Old Spice took note of Axe competing on sex appeal. But they found a new way to do it. When they brought swagger to market, it meant confidence and manliness and being able to be your true self. Totally different from Axe and way different from where the category played. This new position that didn't alienate their core base opened up a younger demographic to trying them out and catapulting that particular product into the leadership role in the space. As you work through positioning yourself on head and heart attributes, ask yourself, how does your product and brand make them feel? Depending on the category, you may need to explore many different positions to differentiate or become relevant. Walking around the home improvement stores, you can see brands taking this approach. But there's more than just what you say. A lot of the times it's the way you say it. Are you provocative or are you more conservative? Indulgent or practical? Is your product the hero or do you help the end user become the hero? Are you the big brand at the king of the hill or are you the scrappy underdog? Truly understanding what's going to elicit a positive response, what they connect to, is what you're after. Take time with your product and brand positioning strategy. Successful positioning articulates how you uniquely solve your end users' problems and why you're a better solution than alternatives. Remember that your brand isn't what you say you are, it's what they say you are. And to do it right, you need to be considered favorable, different, and credible. Try plotting brands on 2x2s. Figure out where the white space is in terms of features and benefits. Think about head and heart dimensions and use frameworks to uncover your true brand essence. There are so many different levels to building a brand. We'd love to hear from you if you have questions about how to position or using this type of approach in your PLR. And please be on the lookout for our next segment, Build a Program, Bring It to Life.